Hi there. I hope you're doing well. Long time no see. I'm doing pretty good myself. Just chilling in front of the tree, playing with decorations. I think I had a different idea for tonight, but it wasn't gonna work out. So I think this is actually gonna be a lot better, just in terms of the sounds and stuff. So I do have 2 new decorations, but I won't show them until the end. The rest are going to be things that I've had for a while. My favorite sounds and stuff. But also, because it's Christmas and New Year's, I wanted to talk about a few things I've learned over the past year. I know right now everybody's thinking about their lives and their choices. If the habits they foster are really contributing to their happiness and healthfulness and making them a better partner or friend, and how they can improve their life in the new year. So, I'm not going to say why I felt the need to change my life. I want to keep it positive, but I feel like I'm in a much better place than I used to be. I feel there's potential that the next few years are going to be the best of my life. I feel it. I feel it with all the new tools, the perspective I have now, all the ways I can create happiness within myself. So, I'm going to talk about that and play with the decorations, but first, before we do that, I have been lucky enough to be sponsored again by, guess who? Scentbird. So they sent me 3 new fragrances. 3 new fragrances in their magnetic shells. I love these things. So what you do is you subscribe to Scentbird, and they will send these 8 milliliter atomized spray bottles to you. 1 every month. Should last you about a month if you keep using it. But for me, it lasts quite a bit longer than that. And each bottle that you get comes with one of these nice stock card printouts. And so I have these 3. They are Purr from Katy Perry, Sea Salt Caramel from Boko, and finally The Perfumer's Story by Ezzy, Sequoia Wood. So they'll have descriptions written on the back. I'll read you this one. The composition is layered around the sensual and deep richness of red sequoia wood, enhanced on the top by a slight flirtatious freshness of neroli and pomarosa, with a kissable base of cedar, patchouli, and white musk oils. The Purr from Katy Perry is more like a fruity, floral scent. A little bit of vanilla in there, And then the sea salt caramel is obviously marine scented and very caramelized. I like this one the best, actually. I gotta be honest. Oh, I don't know. That's pretty good too. Sequoia wood is obviously woody, green, warm, and spicy. I really like it. I saw it described as sort of powdery, and I think that's where I get that light, airy kind of a vibe to the scent. And this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. I'm gonna just get it going. Oh, I like that. Just because it's in the theme of the warm Christmas tree. So what I discovered, as I didn't know it before, was that they have an app that I found from scanning the QR code on the card. So you have the part with your scent profile where you can take a quiz and they will give you recommendations as well as your scent preferences. But what I really like is the section on My Queue. So you can go and you look at their products and then you press add to queue, and then you go to My Queue and you'll see what fragrances you are set to receive for each month. And if you want to just delete one, just press it, boop, and it's gone. And then you can drag and drop on the side to change the order. I thought that was really neat and convenient. So if you do sign up for Scentbird, either for yourself or someone else, you can use the code ARDRA, ASMR55, to get 55% off your first month subscription. And that would amount to just over $7. So anyway, thank you for sponsoring the video, Scentbird. And I'm gonna start the rest of the video. So I have a lot of decorations to choose from. So I don't know what will make the best noise. Oh, I was able to get Krampus from a couple of years ago. The one I made a couple of years ago. Many years ago. I got him on. There he is. And Baba Yaga is up here as well. So, you know what? I bet you Baba Yaga will sound good. There's Baba Yaga. It's gonna be me in a couple of years. So her iron teeth, cataract eyes, kind of weird looking, but still pretty good for something I kind of made last minute at the time. The sculpt was kind of rushed, but so the back of her, I think. Yeah. Let me hear. Just whispering to me on the back. Turner. So I think the most important thing that I did was to first sit down and I started journaling. I had all these journals. I still gotta keep up with it a little bit, but not as much. sitting with a journal and writing what you genuinely enjoy, what makes you happy, and what's made you happy for the longest period of time in your life. The most stable source of happiness in your life. So for me, it was like live events. Not always concerts, but spectacles. I really like performances and creative, immersive spaces. I like to think about all the planning that goes into it, like programming lights, costumes, and set designs, and all that kind of stuff. So I determined that it wasn't like, I like music a lot, live music, but I'm not so focused on, I say I don't idol worship, or, I'm not really like a fangirl for anyone. So it's not that part of it that I enjoy, so I'm not going to put any effort into that. The only thing that matters there is like, if you want to flex your knowledge or have a conversation with somebody, actually being in the space is what I enjoy, what brings me happiness, and why that is. It's not just the thing itself, what it means. Sit and analyze, like, what is it about? For me, it was like this in between where you get to feel intimacy with people because you're all experiencing the same things, but it's not scary because you don't really have to. You don't really have to be social. Like, there's a buffer, there's a shared context. That's a big thing that's been coming up a lot, is I felt like my social life was lacking. Though we talk a lot, I've talked a lot with people about shared context, how adults, see if I can put it behind your ear. What does that sound like? That adults meet each other more so and make new friends in shared contexts. So you have to you kind of have to get hobbies and stuff first. Figure out where you're even gonna go, where you have a shared interest or a context you actually want to participate in. Yeah. See, Baba Yaga is very isolated, living in her chicken hut in the woods. She needs to get some hobbies outside of the house. Unless she's happy, then that's fine. That was the most important part, is I wasn't happy in that situation. I could be, but I wasn't at the time. I think there's times where it's appropriate to be isolated, and other times where And you should have the option to be around people who are warm to you. Anyway, so knowing things that you enjoy feeds into everything else and gives you a starting point for meeting new people as well. So you dive in deep as to what function these things you enjoy serve for you. So for me, it had to be some kind of intimacy with other people, but from a distance. But of course also having your favorite people around without really having the pressure of entertaining anyone. You can just be there, standing next to each other. So, I would know to appreciate the visual aspects of a spectacle, a live performance or something like that. Then how can I integrate that into my own life? And that's with my videos and stuff, and learning more about lighting at the time. I was enjoying that as well. Now being exposed to new music, having a way for things to feel real, permanent, and get etched into your mind. So from actually seeing like a new band play, I might not remember otherwise, but now that I'm like, oh, I have all of these other sensory memories associated with the band, so now I feel more real, and I feel my interests are more real, and I feel my identity more, and my beliefs. And all, music has lyrics and stuff, and emotion and a vibe, and a spiritual component, and all those things are important to yourself. Boy, is this a ramble. So yeah, making a list of all of the things that you genuinely like and have liked, and I know it's hard when you're maybe depressed. It feels like you don't enjoy anything. So sometimes the list won't be very long. I think you should be able to find at least one thing. Even just imagine for a while what it would be like to enjoy it again. If you can't find it in you, just think. Just try to imagine what some hypothetical person would feel. Then if you can approach it logically, for a while, you might be surprised. Then eventually, if you do it, you nurture that thing you enjoy. It brings you happiness. Suddenly you'll realize, hey, I'm actually living it for real. as an intellectual exercise, maybe. So, this one. This is the one made of feathers. I don't know if I should get too close. This one. The other thing, the second thing, is that I kept hearing about this like 20/80 rule. Then I was told to apply it to people as well, to make a list of, this sounds really kind of brutal, I guess, but make a list of all the people in your life you spend the most time with. Write down 10 people. And do 20%. Yeah, the top 20%. And then the bottom 20% in terms of how they make you feel. Do you dread talking to them? Do they create drama in your life? And do you come away feeling good about yourself and about life and feel enthusiastic after you spend time with them? The upper 20% and the lowest 20%. And then you're supposed to, yikes, and everybody thinks so, especially if you're a social phobe, or if you're somebody who isolates a lot, they're gonna be like, oh damn, I'm in the lower 20%, but it's not really something you can, you're gonna be able to predict. Sometimes people just disappear anyway. But you can just sort of, you don't do anything negative, or you don't confront anyone that's on the bottom 20%. You just make a conscious decision to put your time, emotion, your money into that upper 20% and not your lower 20%. And that could be anyone in your life, including family, friends. I think everything's just really about prioritizing. Can't be everything to everyone. You don't have an infinite amount of energy to give and love to give. Your hobbies, your work, anything. You have to pick and choose what's the best place to put your energy and time. And if you don't actively think about it, then you're just going to be overwhelmed all the time, and everything's going to feel empty. So, just sort of shift your focus to that upper 20%. presence of like rejecting people. It's just about injecting love into your relationships with those that help your spirit stay alive. I think that's quite louder than my voice, at least right now. Louder than my voice. They're gray feathers. The tips of the feathers have sparkly glue on them. The more I play with it, the more sparkles are gonna get everywhere. And the more fuzzy the feathers will get. The donut. It's a foam donut inside. Do it behind the ear. I think the list is really good for somebody who chases people, wants their approval. Even when nothing you do is really good enough for certain individuals. So, I tend to do that. I think everything is like valid, everybody's feelings are valid. So if they disapprove of me, I just gotta try harder, right? When it doesn't work, it really makes me see it. So you've gotta learn that. I had to think for a second how to say this. You need to feel like things make sense in the world and universe and relationships. If you feel like you put in a lot of love or effort into something and it doesn't really seem to make a difference, it's not just about that relationship, it's about your ideas of cause and effect in your life at all. So you might not think, if you have a creative project that's not working out, keep putting in time and effort and you never get the dopamine, you never get the satisfaction. If your efforts actually amounting to something, it's more metaphysical, where, existence doesn't make sense itself. But when you do that for a person as well, it's the same thing. You don't feel like you can affect change anywhere in your life. They aren't so different in principle, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So, I call them sprinkles or sparkles. Roll back the tape. Sparkles. These are sprinkles. the large pieces are sprinkle shaped. These are good for filling in the gaps in the tree. Same with the white ones. Taking apart the entire tree. I'm going to put it back. I'll show you the other one. I'll show you the white versions of these as well. Oh, yeah. Oh, number 3 is, yes, was that if you, say, work from home or something, you're always doing stuff, having hobbies and whatever, like having a set time to be done for the day is really important. I used to wake up so stressed. There's a biological reason for it, but even if there was, you still need to put an effort to de-stress and to be like, at 8 o'clock in the evening, I'm done for the day. Period. This is when I shower. One thing is getting, so I used to think like, all of these things are frivolous, right? But getting a nice pair of pajamas, these are my favorite pair. So getting a few pairs of nice pajamas that are matching, don't have any stains or dried paint on them. Having a shower, getting to nice PJs, clean PJs. Maybe some slippers or something. And a dressing gown. And saying that that's the end of your day. It's just a mental thing. You can still do stuff after that time. It's just if it stresses you out or feels like work for just a second, then you gotta stop. And you're allowed to stop. And all of those things are about making you feel like you have a choice. Like maybe the next few things are all like that. You know, when you stop work for the day, you can take a little nibble or a morsel of work, working on something. It won't stress you out because it feels like a choice. Having your self-care routine, actually doing, you're supposed to do like a massage or, I don't know, rolling your muscles or something like that. I started to put a heating pad in my bed, and I would do that at night. A lot of the times we just push through unconsciously through pain. And I bring up pain because stress often manifests as pain. Like for me, it was chest pain, tension in my chest all the time. I often would obsess about things anyway in my mind. Like that ADHD paralysis. Like you think you're not doing anything, but your mind's running through the process over and over again. It feels like you're doing the stuff, but you haven't been. It feels like you've been doing stuff when you haven't. You got all of the stress, but none of the actual manifestation. So, I think it just gives you permission to let go. Having it decided upon. Your brain takes it more seriously. I don't know why it works. That and the ritual. And also, for once, I have nice sheets and pillowcases that match. Oh, wow. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it was very like utilitarian. I can't have nice things anyway because I'm just gonna get paint on it or something. Or coffee. So I can never have my space, my relaxing, quiet space, which is your bed, to be nice. It really affected how I felt. I didn't realize. Or maybe I've just become more sensitive to that stuff. But it is what it is, if that's how I am now. You can't be stuck in how you've always done things, I guess. Here's one of the white flowers. This is more posable because of the wires inside the petals. Not sure if it sounds nice though. So one of the things I've been practicing, as maybe an agoraphobic or social phobe, is my sort of sense of safety and not having it so related to what's going on around me. Like my goal was to get to the point where I could be anywhere, doing anything, and feel exactly the same as I would if I were alone in my room. And the only thing that gets me there is to actually expose myself to new situations. What I've done is to keep putting myself in situations that are uncomfortable and finding those little moments where I feel okay and observing what that feels like, why I've gotten there. Just try to make those moments and that feeling get longer and longer in those situations. And one thing is to stop living for the entertainment of other people or only for your enjoyment. It takes a while to get there. But yeah, I find that very helpful to always think, this is my time, this is my life. I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do, that I'm not enjoying. I'm going to advocate for myself in those moments. So if I'm getting bored or uncomfortable, I'm gonna change what we're doing if I can. Sometimes I sort of like stim, you know. If I'm really bored, I'll just like sway my body and not really care so much about how that looks to somebody else, you know. Just, how do you say that? You start taking up more and more space mentally. You start to actually feel like the world is something you can own as well. I always feel like it's owned by other people and I'm just renting it, or I'm an imposter. And that's what makes me very nervous inside of my house. But once it starts to feel an extension, if you go out, you understand what to do in certain situations more. So if you're an agoraphobic, you have one more person that says that exposure therapy helps, it works. You might feel like you're gonna die a few times first, but I promise you it does get easier. Because you kind of prove to yourself that you are reliable, that you can rely on yourself to help you if anything happens. And like working on letting go of embarrassment. I think you can't directly address other people's perception of you. I think you just have to change your focus to yourself instead. Effectively, it does the same thing, but I guess it's all just relentlessly pursuing all the things that you want to do, moment to moment when you want to do them. I think I build up all of these consequences all the time. Then when you get to rock bottom, you gotta just say, how could it get worse? So, might as well just do everything you want now. If it doesn't work, there is, I guess, an option anyway. What I mean is, a lot of the times we stress ourselves out about consequences that never actually materialize. Or are real, but their emotional impact is amplified by what's going on internally. I think that can be applied to so many things. Like, I always thought, I've always been waiting for the day where financially I could be responsible while doing the things I like, and it never arrived. So now I just don't think about it. have to think about it later. But when I'm happier, and that's the plan. That's been the plan, and that's how it's worked out. Anyway, I'm getting so distracted from the topic, but that's how I wanted it to be. I just wanted to sit and ramble and talk because this is actually part of it. I'd be really unhappy with the whole channel thing. I don't like attention. It depends what it is. Depends what it is and from whom. I put a lot of pressure on myself. Sometimes I don't know who I am. I know who I am internally, but not socially. So I get very anxious about coming back. So it's actually better for me, to fail and to be okay with that. So, on that note, I'm gonna get the 2 new ornaments that I promised to show you. They're going to my nieces, one for each of them. This one says, "Healing angel, I will hold you always in the palm of my hand." So, I guess the last point would be that I think you regret not doing things much more than you regret doing things. I'm sure you've heard that a million times before, but I guess you don't really internalize it until you experience it in real life enough times. And I've always thought, I can't do that, can't have that. Mostly doing things, not having things I don't really regret. Not buying something or whatever. Usually the opposite, but for experiences. Going out with friends, going places with family, I never regret going. I always feel sad if I don't go. It's usually because I think, oh, I have to get this done, or I can't afford that, or whatever, or fear about performing, not feeling well enough to be pleasant to hang around with. So that's why I would isolate over and over again. I didn't spend very much time with family because of that. Because I want it to be fun and not a burden or whatever. And I guess I can't do that anymore. I shouldn't be doing that anymore. You can't get that time back either. I've just been saying yes to so many more things now. My life is so different just from doing that one thing. Saying yes. Getting overwhelmed and having too much going on, but so different. Every time I feel like saying no, so if I know it's because I'm afraid of something, just out of principle, I say yes now. Things have been kind of crazy. Can't last forever because you gotta be responsible. But I really think just a short period of being kind of like, I don't know, selfish can make you feel so much better for a really long time. When you have to reel it back in. So, I hope in the new year, starting any day that you want to start, that you figure it out. And you will figure it out if you just put your mind to it. You'll figure it out. I promise you. You got this. I will hold you always in the palm of my hand. Thank you once again to Scentbird. Use code ARDRA ASMR55 when you sign up.